Chapter 1 Midlothian, Scotland, September 1842. There is little more delightful than to rise in the early morning and watch the sun wake the world. It was my habit to do so, lifting the hem of my skirt clear of the dew-damp grass as I strode up Roman Camp Hill, or the camp as we called it, with the lavrocks sweetening the air with their calls. I love the freedom of movement, the sense of being alone with nature and the feel of autumn air against my face. That morning started no differently. I rose, dressed hastily, and left the house by the side door, breathing deeply of the crisp air. Winter Lodge stood on the flanks of the hill with our grounds spread around us, and the slope rising in a succession of small fields and patches of woodland. High above, stars faded in the abyss of the sky, little eyes of God watching over us. I wondered at the vastness of the cosmos, and what may lie up there, stumbled over a tuft of grass and berated myself for not paying attention. As I jammed my hat hard on my head, I heard voices floating towards me, looked up and saw two figures approaching, recognised the taller, and continued, "Good morning, Miss Moffat." William Flockhart greeted me, while the man at his side gave a shy smile. "Good morning, Will," I replied. We knew him as Wild Will, for he spent all of his life out of doors, either living rough on the local hills or on the tramp to see the world beyond the confines of Midlothian. Brown of face and rough of clothes, he was a local character who, rumour claimed, had never entered a building for 20 years. "Good morning, Miss Moffat." The second man doffed his low-crowned hat as he spoke. "Good morning," I replied. I did not know the fellow, although I had seen him in the streets of Dalkeith and among the colliers of Winter Hill. He was an open-faced coal worker with steady eyes, one of my father's tenants. As Will and his companion strode downhill, I continued my ascent of the camp, enjoying the stretch and pull of my muscles until I reached my tree. My father had planted that horse chestnut on the day of my birth 22 years ago. Father had chosen the most splendid of situations, with a panoramic view that stretched from the eastern pyramid of North Berwick Law to the fertile fields of Fife, across the Firth of Forth to the north and westward over the Midlothian plain to the Pentland Range. On a clear day, I could even see the distant triangle of Schiehallion, the sacred mountain of the Caledonians in far-off Perthshire. However, the day that my life altered was not clear in any way, with the sun struggling to dissipate the thin haar easing from the Forth. The first sign that my life's ordinary serene pattern was about to change sat astride his horse underneath my tree. "Well met, my lady." The gentleman doffed his hat most gallantly. "I did not expect to meet anybody up here at this hour, particularly not such a handsome young lady as yourself." "I come here most mornings, sir," I said, bobbing in a curtsy as I examined the stranger. He was handsome enough in a rough-hewn way, with a weather-beaten face under his tall hat. His eyes held my attention as they laughed at me. "Do you indeed, ma'am?" he said. "You must be a local lady to make such an arduous climb." "I don't find it arduous, sir," I said. "It is more of a pleasure than an imposition." The man's nod was strangely unsatisfactory as he continued to survey me. "And you, sir," I said, "you are not a local man, yet you also make the climb." "Chetak made the climb," the man patted his horse's neck. "I merely sat astride her." "I see." I was growing tired of this glib stranger's presence at my tree. "Did you come here merely to admire the view?" "No, ma'am. I came here to learn the lie of the land." "Well, that was honest. You could not have come to a better viewpoint," I admitted grudgingly. We stood in silence for a moment, watching dawn spread across Midlothian, or Edinburghshire, to give its other name. Some of the towns were already awake, with lights in Bonnyrigg, Lasswade and Penicuik, while the tiny collier communities seemed never to sleep as the men and women toiled long hours underground. "This is a mining area," my handsome stranger said. "Mining and farming." I found this man increasingly wearying. "With some manufacturing. Do you have business here, sir?" "I have business here. You must know a great deal about the place." "I know a little," I replied, hoping he would leave soon so that I could enjoy my tree in peace.